The undefeated Kansas Jayhawks came to town. Would every play look as spectacular as that?
Well, Leslie, after watching the game, I'm going to guess these plays were few and far between, but there's a nice one right there. And then we go to a more tranquil place where everyone is not trying to tackle you.
And we'll show you how sword fighting did not go out of style in the Middle Ages.
Coming up on CU Sports Mag. Welcome to CU Sports Mag. I'm Amanda Blackwell, sitting alongside Leslie Fox.
In honor of Halloween, will Colorado Sports get a trick or a treat?
Well, this might be a treat for you. The men's and women's cross-country teams won the Big 12 championship on Friday night for the 9th straight year. In fact, this makes it 23 of 24 for the cross-country teams. CU senior Brent Vaughn won his first men's individual Big 12 championship. He finished an 8K in a little more than 22 minutes. Teammate Kenyon Newman finished second in the race. He came in 14 seconds behind Vaughn. Jenny Behringer led the way for the women. She finished second place in the women's race. The Buffs are back in action on November 10th, competing for the national title. Well, Leslie, it'd be really nice if our football team could win a national title Big 12 title sometime soon.
Well, they'd have to get by Kansas first. We're going to show you some of the highlights of this weekend's football game.
As soon as we get those ready for you.
It was family weekend at CU, and Chip was one of many to bring mom and dad to the game. Jill Brown had a great tackle.
All right, well, we're having some technical problems there, but for a little more analysis on this game, first we're going to go to Kevin Rash and Ron Knabenbauer with Double Team.
Take it away, guys.
All right, well, in that game, we had the undefeated Kansas Jayhawks coming to town. Didn't probably go the way that most of us would have hoped.
No, the game started out great. Jalil Brown had a great first tackle, but it did not continue to go smoothly for them.
Nope. We saw at the end of the game, they made a comeback effort. Cody Hawkins passed to Patrick Williams. And then we had the Cody Hawkins pass as well to Byron Ellis, but neither of those were quite enough. We ended up losing 14-19. All right, we're going to go to those highlights now.
It was family weekend at CU, and Chip was one of many to bring mom and dad to the game. KU was 6-0 going into the game, but the Buffs were out to show that they could hang with the undefeated Jayhawks. Jill Brown had that great tackle against Anthony Webb. This was the first of 2 tackles in the game for Brown. Also, the Buffs won the last 2 home games, looking to make it 3 in a row. However, things wouldn't continue to go so smoothly. The defense was trying to be tough, but KU's offense gets it going with quarterback Todd Reesing searching for an open man. He's still searching, and he finds him, completing the 24-yard pass to Marcus Henry, barely landing in bounds. We go to the second quarter. KU is leading 3-0. Kevin Aberhart's trying to attempt to tie up the game with a 46-yarder, but it's no good. Chip's not too happy about this. Take it away, Amanda.
All right, to the third quarter, Jayhawks still leading 3-0. Cody Hawkins fakes like he dropped the ball, allowing him to find wide-open Dusty Sprague to put the Buffs ahead 7-3. But don't get too excited, boys. This lead won't last longer than the next drive. To the fourth quarter, KU now up 19-7. Patrick Williams shows that a little practice can put you yards ahead of the competition. 27 yards to be exact. The completion puts the Buffs on the Jayhawk 5, meaning all it's going to take is a Cody Hawkins pass to Byron Ellis, who believes he can fly right into the end zone, closing the gap to make it 14-19. Unfortunately, the comeback fell short and the Buffs fall to 4-4 on the season. All right, let's take a look at those Big 12 standings. We have Kansas, that we just saw, undefeated on the top of the Big 12 North. They're 7-0 overall, 3-0 in the conference. And in the basement of the Big 12 North, we have 1-3 Nebraska and 0-4 Iowa State.
Next up, here's Big 12 South with Oklahoma leading. We saw them a couple weeks ago at CU, then Texas A&M. A little further down, Texas Tech, the game we're going to be playing this weekend.
All right, and we promised you that inside analysis, so here's Kevin Rash and Ron Knabenbauer.
Take it away, guys.
Thanks, guys. Welcome to Double Team. I'm Ron Knaubenbauer, alongside Kevin Rash. We're going to break down some football. Play Kansas this weekend. What happened?
Kansas came in undefeated, ranked 15th in the nation, and only beat teams like Southeastern Louisiana, Central Michigan, Florida National, and Toledo prior to playing us. So we thought we could win this game easily, right?
Yeah, cupcakes. I mean, they were totally overrated, but we just didn't have enough chances. We already had the chances, but we just didn't capitalize.
Yeah, we had 3 turnovers, 2 picks, the fumble in the red zone by Hugh Charles early in the first, which was huge, ended up costing us the game basically. And Hawkins, again, not a great game. And then that 4 downs at the end of the game when we had 2 minutes left to come back and go for the win. Fumble, sack, and then 2 complete passes, and it didn't cut us for us.
Yes, and their quarterback, Todd Reesing, just absolutely killed us. 84 yards rushing. We haven't seen those numbers since Vince Young did to us 2 years ago. And just a totally outplayed game. But now we're playing Tech this weekend, Texas Tech, one of the, they're tied for, they're in the top things in the Big 12 South, so...
Let me sit here for a second. Graham Harrell, Michael Crabtree, 2 names you have to know going into the Tech game. Graham Harrell, 72.6 completion percentage, 3,548 yards passing, and 32 touchdowns. Video game-like numbers, but that doesn't even compare to Michael Crabtree. 88 receptions, 1,320 yards receiving, 12 touchdowns. Gotta stop these guys. How do we do it?
And not to mention, their team is averaging 569 yards per game, and then their quarterback's averaging 499 yards passing per game. These are crazy Madden numbers. We gotta clearly stop the pass. So we gotta keep them to the run. Our defense has done great this year on the running game, so we gotta keep them to the run.
Play prevent defense. And last year though, Texas Tech looking for redemption. Lost here when we were 0-6. But coming up, we're gonna talk about basketball, media day coverage. We'll send it back to the desk.
Coming up after this break, we'll hear a little more from Kevin and Ron about basketball.
Yep, and after that, we'll reveal our Athlete of the Week. We'll be right back.
All kids have trouble staying within the lines. After the 3rd grade, it could be a sign of a learning disability. With the right help, most kids go on to do well in school. Call now to help your child manage his learning disability. There's no reason to be held back.
What if you had to choose between a flower and an elephant? What would you choose? What if you had to decide between a 100-year-old tree and a 1,000,000-year-old beach? Would you choose between drinking clean water or breathing clean air? Now you can choose all these things. EarthShare, the world's leading environmental groups working together. It's one choice we can all live with.
Colorado men's basketball coach Jeff Bzdelik and the 2007-2008 Buffaloes addressed the press on Thursday afternoon at the annual Colorado Basketball Media Day at the Coors Events Conference Center. So with that, we're going to toss it over to Double Team to find out more about Media Day and CU basketball.
Welcome back to Double Team. I'm Kevin Rash, alongside here Ron Knaubenbauer, and we got Media Day coverage with new coach Jeff Bzdelik talking about CU Buff's upcoming season, and let's see what he has to say about the subject coming up.
I've had players in my office over the last 3 days coming in and actually watching the film twice. So, that's a real positive sign. We need to be honest here. We have to play with a desperate energy, with great intelligence, and great team play on both ends of the court to have a chance to be competitive. When they asked for the coaches' votes, I picked us 13th. And so that shows you the respect I have for the league. I mean, it's just a great league with great coaches, great traditions, and great talent.
So as you can see, not very enthusiastic, Jeff Bzdelik, but new season for the Buffs, 7-20 last year. What can we do?
Well, he wasn't very enthusiastic, but a lot of optimism there. I mean, we finished last in the Big 12, as was said. He predicts us to be 13th, signing 13 teams, so it's going to be hard to say. We got to show definitely more effort, as he was saying, and a lot better defense in the paint and just all-around game.
Yeah, effort is key. We had players, like you said, going in early to check out film during the week already before the season started, which is a good sign. Roby's coming back. Silas is coming back. 2 senior leaders we desperately need. Marcus Hall is coming back from eligibility, so that'll be key. And also the key to get the Buffs off to a good start is those early games against teams like Wisconsin, Stanford, and New Mexico. And so hopefully we get the fans back in the stands.
Yeah, back in the stands.
I mean, we need fans, like, basically to sell out these games, or else we're never going to be a college basketball.
Of course. Now, the women's also had their media day yesterday. Let's hear what Kathy McConnell-Miller had to say.
The biggest difference is the preparation of this young team from last year to this year in the off season. They're the best condition that I've had. They're the strongest and the most competitive group that I could hope to have been handed on the 12th of October. Everybody talks about is Britney Spears. I think she's one of our hardest workers. She puts the most time into it and has made a pretty quick adjustment.
Okay, well, as you can see, Miller thinks it's a very exciting time for the program. High expectations. They were expected to finish 11th in the Big 12. They only finished 7th last year. What can you say about that?
Yeah, that's ridiculous. We have Jackie McFarland coming back. We have Britney Spears coming in. You know, not the pop singer-songwriter who doesn't work as hard.
A lot more talent.
Yeah, so... and like McConnell said, Britney Spears is going to be a spark plug, just like Whitney Houston is on our team. Come off the bench, plays great defense, gets us the steals, the nice assists. And Jackie McFarland, like I can't say enough, Big 12 All-American last year, preseason this year. So, yeah, what else?
Yeah, they have a great combination of young players and experienced players. So that's all we have for Double Team. For Ron Knaumer, he's Kevin Rash. We'll send it back to the desk.
Thanks, guys. It does sound like Coach Zellick thinks they're going to struggle a bit this season.
Yeah, but I think once the players get used to the new system, in the next few years, we'll see a little bit of improvement.
Right. There's another team that needs a little more pickup, too. The CU volleyball team continued its struggles Saturday, losing to Big 12 rival Baylor. Junior Lauren Schaefer tied a career high with 19 kills, and junior Callie Webster had 19 digs. Sophomore Caitlin Burkett had a solid night with 5 aces and 55 of the Buffs' 61 assists. Nonetheless, the Buffs still lost in 5 games to the Bears. The Buffs are 0-9 in 5-game matches this season. The loss dropped the Buffs to 0-11 in the Big 12 and 5-14 overall.
The CU women's volleyball team dropped yet another match this past Wednesday against the 21st-ranked Oklahoma Sooners at the Coors Event Center. This game marks the 12th consecutive loss for the Buffs and continues the longest losing streak in CU volleyball history. Junior Lauren Schaefer set 2 career highs with 24 kills and 50 attacks, but it wasn't enough to top the Sooners. Up next for the Buffs, the match with the Texas Longhorns tomorrow afternoon at Coors Event Center.
CU volleyball player Lauren Schaefer tied a career high of 19 kills in last Saturday's game against Baylor. Then on Wednesday night, she outdid herself by setting 2 career highs with 24 kills and 50 attacks against the 21st-ranked Oklahoma Sooners. Lauren's outstanding performance made her CU Sports Mag's Athlete of the Week.
It was good. I've just been trying to put myself out there and be a good. I know I'm a leader on this team and just trying to do my best to, push the other girls and, help our team accomplish the goals that I know that we can accomplish. It's a team sport. I played tennis growing up, and singles, and there's something about a team sport that's so amazing, to push other people around you. And, when you do win and you do have those moments, it's amazing to have that with other people and to have that unity. So, I've just been trying to work my butt off and just push same thing. I just kept trying to, just go after everything and play hard. And it's frustrating because every day we come into practice and I've seen such a different team out in practice in our gyms than, anyone else has ever seen when we step out, for match night. It's like, just right now we're playing not to lose, and that's not the way to play a game. You have to play to win. So it's frustrating because we're so close, but it just takes, people sacrificing that and being there for the team and not playing like individuals. So we're getting there, hopefully. I am Lauren Schaefer, CU Sports Magazine's Athlete of the Week.
Through 8 games so far this season, there have been 611 snaps on offense and 521 snaps on defense. One player, and one player only, has played every snap this season, obviously one offense or defensive player. That's the trivia question. Who is this man? The answer is coming up later. And coming up, we'll meet some athletes who do more than just play sports.
That's right, and we'll get to know our mascot Chip a little better.
Most Americans don't realize that their household energy use produces twice as much pollution as the family car, or that America emits more than 25% of the world's greenhouse gases. But it's easier now than ever before to reduce energy waste at home and make the air a little cleaner. You might even save some money. Call this toll-free number for simple steps to make your home more energy efficient. It's easy when you know how.
Last weekend, the tennis team had a split squad as they had 2 tournaments in both Tulsa and New Mexico. The team in Tulsa made it through the first day mostly unscathed, thanks to the play of Melissa Esposito, but the second day was a different story with Colorado faring poorly, sending them back to Boulder earlier than expected. The squad in New Mexico had a better time with both Victoria Almanio and Christian Felt winning their semifinal double match. However, they lost to Boise State in the finals. The Buffs are done until January 19th when they travel back to New Mexico to take on the Lobos.
CU football players have many talents other than football. Jeremy Bloom was an Olympic skier. Abraham Wright knew sign language. Sports Mag's Glacy Torres reports on yet another talent hidden behind pads.
Most guys who do this don't do this. But Austin Bisnow is not like most guys. He may be here at the University of Colorado playing football, but what he really wants to do is become a pop star.
All my time is football, and but I still write music. When I'm inspired, I sit down or I record it on my phone and I write it. So
Bisnow, or AKA Busy Biz, is a serious musician. He plays 3 instruments but has written over 100 songs, 16 of which debuted on his first album, Get Busy, released last year. Another 15 songs were on his second album, Ain't Logical, which was released in this September. Bisnow chose Colorado because of the music school. The bonus was big-time Big 12 football, where the Buffaloes assured him a spot in the roster as a long snapper.
The majority loves my music. They come and support me when I perform. And I actually gave everyone on the team who wanted one a CD. My new CD, Ain't Logical.
So has he decided to be in music or in football?
I'm not going to decide. I love them both. They both play equal roles in my life. I guess long-term music, but right now I'm loving them both.
With Austin Bisnow, the better question might be, what can't he do? Glacy Torres, News Team, Boulder.
We want to thank our friends at News Team for that package. And now nothing seems to be going right for any of the women's sports teams. The latest victim, the women's soccer team. The Buffs lost a grinded-out type of game versus the number 16 Missouri Tigers. Missouri hit the back of the net first in the 12th minute for a header by Kat Tarr, and late in the 84th minute, Mizzou would strike again, this time on a goal by Kristen Adriaghetto. Missouri would finish with 22 fouls, and the Buffs added 16 fouls of their own. With the loss, Colorado dropped their 3rd straight conference game and dropped to 3-4 in the Big 12. The Buffs have a difficult weekend ahead of them as they face the Oklahoma Sooners and Oklahoma State Cowgirls.
Keeping a steady pace is what CU cross-country runners Bradley Harkrader and Emily Hannenberger did to be the top finishers for the Buffs in the Air Force Open. Harkrader finished first for the men with a time of 25 minutes and 7 seconds on the 8K course, and Hannenberg finished first for the women with a time of 23 minutes, 26 seconds. The cross-country team will compete in the Big 12 championships this weekend. The Buffs are the defending cross-country champions for both the men's and women's teams.
Not only does the CU cross-country team run hard, they also study hard. They place 16th on the academic All Big 12 teams. It is divided into a first team and a second team. Those on the first team have a GPA of 3.2 or better, and those named to the second team have a 3.0 to 3.19 GPA. The women's cross-country team made the list, and the men had the league-leading mark was 7.
And wherever the Buffs go, you'll find Chip the mascot. But who is Chip really? CU Sports Mag's Lorenzo Arguello shows us that's not an easy question to answer.
Easy. But one very visible person, or in this case, very visible buffalo, goes the extra mile to make sure his true identity is never revealed. We all know him as Chip. So why would anyone choose to don a large, warm suit and goof off in front of thousands of fans?
You know, just to make other people laugh, make other people have a good time, and more importantly, you know, just to represent the school in a way that fits my personality the best.
The history behind this beloved mascot dates back to 1962, when a man by the name of Roy Durbin came up with the idea. Back then, people thought the suit the mascot wore looked like a piece of Chip, and that's how Chip got his name. Now, becoming Chip isn't an easy task. It requires a long audition process that includes an impromptu routine with cheerleaders and props, as well as an interview to make sure your personality fits the job description, which this Chip had no problem pulling off. Once you have the job, you have to make sure you don't reveal who you are to too many people. So I was curious, has anyone caught Chip off guard and found out who he really is?
We had back-to-back appearances. We had a football game Saturday night, then we had a volleyball game Sunday morning, and I was to do both of those. So I had to wash the suit Saturday night. So I washed it in the dorms, and it was just hanging up drying, and I had the door locked, and then all of a sudden my roommate with 10 of his buddies just barges in, and there's, you know, the pants and the arms and the gloves hanging from the ceiling with the head on my bed with a fan next to it. The room smells horrible, and all of their eyes just got so big, they looked at me like, oh, you're Chip?
Even after that ordeal, he has managed to keep his identity from being revealed to most members of the CU community. And don't worry, Chip, your secret is safe with me. Lorenzo Arguello, News Team Boulder.
Okay, well, after the break, we'll give you the answer to that doozy of a trivia question.
We'll also get to take a look at some of the less common sports on campus.
Excuse me, do you wear your safety belt?
Why, no, I don't wear my safety belt.
Thank you.
You could learn a lot from a dummy. Buckle your safety belt.
Well, it's finally time to reveal this week's Mystery Man. Before we reveal the answer, we'll remind you of the question one more time.
Who is the man who has taken every offensive or every defensive snap so far this season? The answer, offensive tackle Tyler Columbus is yet to miss a down. For two CU students, fly fishing is a great way to kick back and relax, and that makes their friendship unique. You might even say a river runs through it.
You get down there and it's all about reading the water, reading the bugs, and kind of keying in on the little details, and it kind of shrinks your world a little bit. I'm Reed Baker, and I love to fly fish. Nice Boulder Creek brown trout. Little brownie. It's not luck. You don't catch fish in fly fishing because of luck. You catch fish because you're doing everything right.
I'm Robert Snyder, and I love to fly fish. Being out on the river and, of course, hooking fish, that's got to be my favorite part. It's hard to describe. I've just started learning to tie my own flies and coming out here and throwing one of the flies that you just learned to tie and having it actually get a fish is a truly unique feeling. It's nothing like it in the world.
The CU men's golf team traveled to Southern California to compete in the Pepperdine Club Glove Intercollegiate Tournament. Saturday's practice rounds were cut short due to the threat of smoke and wildfires. However, the lack of practice and impending flames didn't stop the Buffs from coming out to play. By Tuesday, the Buffs were in full swing after refocusing from Monday's poor performances. Sophomore Luke Simmons, currently ranked 45th nationally, led CU with 3 birdies and posted a 73 in the final round. The Buffs managed to come out on top, recording team score of 306, which moved them up in the ranks, placing them 8th overall. The golf team will finish out their season in Orlando, Florida early next month.
While the football team was preparing for their matchup against Kansas, another CU club team was already into competition. The Colorado fencing team kicked off their season at the CU Rec Center with the 2nd annual Rocky Mountain Collegiate Flesh last Saturday. Fencers from all over the state gathered at CU, many competing for the first time. While the sport is not that well known, Jessica Mittenberger explains there's a lot more to it than what meets the eye.
People call it chess at 300 miles an hour, which I think is the most apt description I've heard of it yet. It's a lot of a psychological game. If you get in somebody's head, they're done. Saber is the fastest of the weapons, I would say. They actually don't have to stab each other, just slash. Foil is a lot more of an in and out game. You'll see us moving back and forth a whole lot. Epee is a longer running sport. Their entire body is target area, so you tend to see them standing very far apart trying to tag each other on the wrist.
The fencing team will compete in about a dozen more bouts between now and the end of the year.
As October comes to an end, the CU sports teams are still hard at work. This Saturday, the football team... actually, we're going to go to weather with Aaron Burgess.
Thank you guys and welcome to your game day weather forecast. My name is Aaron Burgess. We are going to be traveling to Lubbock, Texas this Saturday. The Buffaloes are taking on the Texas Tech Red Raiders right here in this stadium. And actually this is a pretty good picture. It's not a live shot, but this is what it's going to look like when the Buffaloes get there. The temperatures should be similar. Let's take a quick look at our national map so you can see a little bit of what's going on throughout the country. As you can see, the West is taken pretty tame, not much going on here. East Coast is getting hammered, but we are not going to have to worry about that. We are in Texas this weekend. And as we zoom in a little bit closer to Texas, you'll be able to see this cold front right here over Colorado. Now that's going to be working its way down. I don't see it being a very strong threat on Saturday. It should dissipate by then, as well as the low over Oklahoma here. Lubbock is right there. That little red dot is where the Buffs will be playing. Looks like it'll be a very nice day. Let's take a look at the temperatures. Mid to upper 60s is my forecast for that. It really shouldn't change too much. It's in Texas. The weather is pretty much dry and hot there. There won't be much precipitation at all on Saturday. As we look, wind is another factor in football games. As you can see, these are the current conditions. There's a southerly wind coming up very slow, 2 or 3 miles per hour. I see that wind shifting from the east a little bit later on Saturday, but again, that should not be a problem. So as we finish off our forecast, the high should be 73 degrees. Excuse me, that's on my other side. The low should be 42, but we will not get that until nighttime. As for the game, I think my prediction is going to be 24-13 Colorado. Guys, back to you.
As October comes to an end, the CU sports teams are still hard at work. This Saturday, the football team travels to Lubbock, Texas to take on the Red Raiders of Texas Tech. While the football team battles the Red Raiders, the women's volleyball team will be taking on the Texas Longhorns at the Coors Event Center.
Sunday will find the women's soccer team in Stillwater as they battle it out against Oklahoma State. The women's golf team will be having some fun in the sun, competing in the Ken Ewell Invitational in Honolulu, Hawaii. On both Tuesday and Wednesday, and wrapping up the week, will be the men's basketball team in their first exhibition game at the Coors Event Center against the Basketball Travelers on Thursday. All right, well, this weekend, the Rockies are down 2-0. They're probably going to be one of the biggest sports stories in Colorado this weekend. What do you think about that?
Exactly. We just have to hope that they're back at Coors Field. They don't have to deal with the Boston fans anymore. They have home field advantage. That should be great for the Colorado fans as well as for the team.
And don't forget about our sports as well. We've got Texas Tech tomorrow at 10 o'clock in the morning. But that's going to do it for this edition of CU Sports Mag.
I'm Leslie Fox, sitting alongside Amanda Blackwell.